Hello, welcome to another writing skill video. Today we'll be looking at editing and I'll be providing you with some tips on how to polish your paper in that final step of really getting it ready to turn in and eliminating any unnecessary errors or anything else that might detract from the quality of your paper. So first of all, why does editing matter? From a certain point of view, you could say, well, the content matters. Who cares if I made a few mistakes? Why should that matter? Well, first of all, too many errors do affect the content of your paper because it's difficult to read a paper that has all sorts of errors all the way through. You end up hesitating every time you come to one of these errors, and sometimes it's really hard to determine. It's almost like a puzzle to determine what is actually being said, okay? So it really helps to improve readability, and also it conveys that you care about your work. When we professors assess your writing, we want to know that you put time into it and that you polished it and you're communicating it in the best way possible. That's part of becoming a good writer. And the errors detract from the perceived intelligence and the validity of your ideas too. So it does affect the content and how it's perceived, because even though you may be making a very intelligent, perceptive point, if it's full of all sorts of grammatical and punctuation errors, then we have a hard time getting to that point that you're trying to make, and it detracts from that idea that you're trying to communicate. Also may result in a lower grade. Often this is the first thing a professor might notice about your writing. If it's full of errors, then they're going to be predisposed to a very low grade because it seems like very little care has been taken in the writing and there's just nothing intelligent being communicated here. So getting rid of some of these errors definitely will improve your writing grades. There's no doubt about it. So first of all, what are some tips? How can you do this well? And by editing, by the way, I mean the final polish, really getting those sentences correct and getting rid of actual errors. This is different than revision, which might be the development of the concepts in your paper. But this is the last step, really trying to polish up those sentences and make them correct. So the first tip is give yourself time. If you're always pushing your papers to the last minute, you're not going to have enough time to do the editing well, okay? So give yourself at least a day or two to come back to your paper and to read it with a fresh eye, okay, rather than trying to do it at the very, very last minute. Also, try reading it aloud to yourself. That will really show you things that you may not see just reading it silently. And especially if you trip over a certain place in the paper, it might indicate that something is needed there. Maybe some punctuation is missing, or maybe a word is incorrect, a word is missing, something like that. So reading out loud can be very helpful too. You can even have somebody else read it to you. That might help as well. But other people can read it too, just silently to themselves, and help you with the polishing. If you are not that great with grammar and just not that good at catching those sorts of things, then having somebody else help is certainly legitimate. Of course, they're not writing the paper for you or changing the content of the paper, but they are helping you catch those errors. When somebody else helps you with that, though, please do really notice what they change and what they are suggesting. It's better if they just show you something and have you correct it so that you learn these things, because you want to become an independent editor too, good at catching those things on your own. So make sure you understand edits that other people are suggesting as well. And also you can read it backwards. And what I mean by that is starting with your last sentence and then going to the second to the last and so on till you get to the beginning. So this helps get your sentences outside of the content so that you can see each sentence independently, okay? So you can see whether that sentence is complete, whether it's grammatically correct, whether it has the right punctuation, outside of the content. So you're not thinking about what you're saying, you're just thinking about the correctness of the sentence itself. Okay? So read it from end to beginning instead of from the beginning to end. And also consult dictionaries and handbooks. Don't be lazy about that stuff. If you're not sure you have the spelling right, look in the dictionary. Make sure you have the right spelling. Or if you're not sure you're using a word correctly, you can look in the dictionary. By the way, that should also be for fact checking as well. Make sure you double check the factual information in your paper as well. And consult handbooks like the Rough Rider's Guide or some other handbook that works for you. If you're not sure when and where you should be using a comma or whether you've used one correctly, check it out, okay? Or if you're not sure about some other element in the sentence, consult those handbooks and consult the dictionary. That's how you learn. That will really solidify understanding of grammatical concepts and punctuation concepts and stuff like that. Okay, so get in the habit of actually using those. That's how you learn. And also use the free Grammarly. That is provided free by the college, so you may as well use it. It's not absolutely perfect, so it can make a few mistakes, but it catches a lot and it will help you with a lot of things in your papers. So go ahead and use that. It's absolutely free in the full version from the college. Not the one you get just by signing up, but the full version, which is much better. But use it well. Pay attention to the kind of changes that are being made. First of all, you want to avoid any mistakes it might make, and you want to pay attention to how it's changing anything. So when it suggests a change, look at it closely, make sure that it is correct, and learn from that correction. Okay? So if you need more help with editing, there's more suggestions in section 9 of the Yavapai College Rough Rider's Guide. So take a look at that. And if you're really struggling with those kind of problems, maybe grammatical problems or commas, capitalization, anything like that that's in the realm of editing, just let a Learning Center tutor know that's what you'd like to work on, and they can help you go line by line through your paper and really start to understand some of these concepts that can really make your writing cleaner and more concise and easier to read. Okay? And of course also you can work with your instructor, you can email them, and you can visit them during their office hours. Okay? So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode of Writing Skills.